For years, Last Man Standing was the show that brought families together every Friday night. The laughs, the characters, the stories, it all felt like home. But then, everything changed. One by one, the main cast started leaving. The replacements didn't feel the same, and suddenly viewers were left wondering, why did their favorite characters disappear? Was it creative differences, career changes, or something deeper? The true story is more surprising than you'd expect. So, let's get started. After years away from TV, Tim Allen came back strong in 2011 with Last Man Standing. It wasn't an easy decision. He had already turned down big offers, including one from CBS that would have paid him $1 million per episode. But Last Man Standing was different. The show's creator, Jack Burdett, imagined Mike Baxter as a new kind of character, someone who felt like an older, wiser version of Tim the Toolman Taylor. At first, Allen didn't want the role. He thought it was too similar to his old character. He said no 3 times. What finally changed his mind was a deal that gave him control. Along with starring, he would be an executive producer and have a say in the show's direction. This freedom would later play a big role as the show touched on political topics. ABC had big plans for the show. They wanted it to feel like a modern version of All in the Family. The idea was to have a conservative main character whose views would be challenged by his family. They put the show on Friday nights, a tough time slot, hoping Tim Allen's popularity would draw viewers. It worked. When it premiered in October 2011, 13.2 million people tuned in, making it ABC's biggest comedy debut since 2014. Even in its first season, it dominated its time slot and was especially popular with viewers aged 18 to 49. This was a big deal for a Friday night show, which is usually a hard slot to succeed in. Over 6 seasons, the show kept strong ratings, averaging over 8 million viewers per episode. That's why it shocked so many people when ABC canceled it in 2017. Even more shocking was the departure of the main cast. In the first season of the show, Alexandra Krosny played Kristen Baxter, the eldest daughter of Mike Baxter. Kristen was a young single mom who had her son Boyd at just 17. She worked as a waitress and lived with her parents while trying to balance her life. Viewers loved how Krosny made Kristen feel real. She had a mix of sass and heart, making her funny but also relatable. Her quick, witty comebacks with Tim Allen's character were a highlight, and she brought a lot of emotion to Kristen's struggles as a young mom. But after season 1, something unexpected happened. ABC announced that Krosny wouldn't return for the next season. They said it was due to creative differences, but the real reasons were more complicated. The show's producers decided to change Kristen's story. Instead of focusing on her being a young mom trying to figure things out, they wanted her to seem older and more experienced. They thought this would make the show feel fresh and create new ways for her to challenge Mike Baxter on political and social issues. To make this change, they recast Kristen with a new actress, Amanda Fuller. Another reason for the change had to do with how the sisters on the show looked. Even though Kristen was the oldest sister, Alexandra Krosny was actually younger than Molly Ephraim, who played Mandy, the middle sister. The producers felt this made things seem a little off. Amanda Fuller, who was older than both Krosny and Ephraim, seemed like a better fit to play the eldest sibling. Apart from that, in December 2011, Nick Jonas made a surprise appearance on Last Man Standing as Ryan Vogelson, Kristen's ex-boyfriend and the father of her baby. He was only 19 years old at the time, and the casting was meant to grab attention and boost ratings. In this Christmas episode, Ryan suddenly comes back to town after disappearing for a long time. He's shown as a nervous and immature teenager who ran away from his responsibilities. The show described him as a numbskull who got Kristen pregnant. Jonas's version of Ryan was simple and not very developed, but his appearance caused quite a buzz among viewers.
Things changed when Tim Doyle became the showrunner in season 2. He wanted Ryan to be more than just a deadbeat dad. Doyle decided to turn Ryan into a smarter, more complex character who could challenge Mike Baxter's strong conservative views. The plan was to make Ryan a regular character with deeper connections to the Baxter family. But even Doyle couldn't keep this character. In 2012, Jordan Masterson took over the role of Ryan. Masterson, known for his role on Greek, brought a completely new version of the character to life. His Ryan was smarter, more mature, and politically outspoken. He wasn't just a scared teenager anymore, he was now someone who could argue with Mike about big ideas like politics and values. This change gave Ryan a lot more depth and made him an important part of the show. Over time, Ryan's character grew even more. He went from being a struggling dad to running his own cannabis business, Best Buds, in later seasons. The show had fun with Ryan's success, showing how he unknowingly started acting like a capitalist, something that Mike found hilarious. In May 2017, fans of Last Man Standing were shocked and ABC announced it was canceling the show. It wasn't just any show. It was one of ABC's biggest hits, with over 8 million viewers and strong ratings. People expected it to return for another season, especially since it was doing so well on Friday nights. But instead, the cancellation came out of nowhere. The timing made it even more surprising. Just 2 months earlier, Tim Allen, the show's star, had caused a stir on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He joked that being a conservative in Hollywood felt like living in 1930s Germany. Many wondered if that had anything to do with the network's decision. ABC's president, Channing Dungey, said it wasn't about politics. She claimed the network wanted to stop airing comedies on Fridays and focus on fantasy and sci-fi shows instead. But for fans and even the cast, it felt like a slap in the face. The cast didn't hide their emotions. Tim Allen went on Twitter and said he felt stunned and blindsided by the cancellation. Nancy Travis, who played his TV wife Vanessa, shared her heartbreak with fans and thanked them for sticking by the show. Hector Elizondo, who played Ed, hinted in an interview that politics might have played a role in the decision. While the older cast members were shocked, younger actors like Molly Ephraim. Fans weren't ready to say goodbye to Last Man Standing. They started one of the biggest Save the Show campaigns ever seen. Within a day, a petition to bring the show back gained over 400,000 signatures. Fans flooded Twitter with millions of tweets using the hashtag #SaveLastManStanding. Some even sent toy tools to ABC's offices as a nod to Tim Allen's handyman character. Others paid for billboards in big cities like Los Angeles and New York, demanding the network bring the show back. Even politicians joined in, with Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker suggesting the cancellation might have been politically motivated. Behind the scenes, the reasons for the cancellation were more complicated. ABC had to pay $3 million for each episode because the show was made by 20th Century Fox. On top of that, Tim Allen's salary, over $200,000 per episode, added to the costs. After the cancellation, Fox executives started shopping the show to other networks, including CMT and NBC. In the end, Fox itself picked it up. A year later, on May 11, 2018, Fox announced they were bringing the show back. This wasn't just because of fan efforts. Fox noticed how well ABC had done with the Roseanne revival, which had millions of viewers. Seeing a chance for their own success, Fox decided to take a risk and spent $50 million to make it happen. Getting the show back wasn't easy. Fox announced the revival in May 2018, and the premiere was set for September, giving the team only a few months to write, film, and prepare. The writers started working on scripts in June, with just 15 weeks to get them ready. Filming began in August at the same studio as before, but the set had to be rebuilt because the original one had been taken apart. To meet deadlines, they filmed 3 episodes every week. Later, the COVID-19 pandemic caused a pause in production, adding more challenges. Fox spent more money on the revival to maintain the show's quality, increasing each episode's cost to $1.1 million, up from $800,000. Tim Allen's pay also increased to $235,000 per episode, making him one of the highest-paid actors on TV. To help cover costs, Fox sold streaming rights to Hulu and CMT for $1.5 million per episode. The production team also found ways to save money, such as filming more efficiently and reducing location shoots. All this effort paid off. The show's first season on Fox brought in 8 million viewers, with the premiere alone earning strong ratings. Fans were thrilled to see the Baxter family back on their screens. However, new challenges emerged, particularly with casting. When ABC canceled Last Man Standing in 2017, Molly Ephraim, who played Mandy Baxter for 6 seasons, assumed the show was done for good. She quickly moved on, taking roles in other projects like Brockmire and Halt and Catch Fire. By the time Fox revived the show, Ephraim was too busy to return as Mandy. Producers didn't want a look-alike replacement for Ephraim. Instead, they sought someone who could bring something new to the role. After searching, they chose Molly McCook. McCook didn't resemble Ephraim, but the producers embraced the differences, even making jokes about it on the show. When McCook debuted as Mandy in Season 7, fans were upset, using the hashtag #NotMyMandy to complain. However, McCook didn't try to replicate Ephraim's portrayal. She focused on Mandy's love for fashion and her dream of becoming a designer. The writers gave her more serious storylines, such as Mandy's struggles with pregnancy and her relationship with Kyle. Over time, fans warmed up to McCook, especially after her emotional scenes with Tim Allen. She proved she could bring something unique to the character. Kaitlyn Dever faced a similar situation. After the first cancellation, she shifted her focus to films, landing a breakout role in Kathryn Bigelow's Detroit. This marked a turning point in her career. Within 18 months, she secured major roles in Booksmart and the Netflix miniseries Unbelievable. These projects catapulted her into the spotlight, earning her Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations. Her success in films made her unavailable for a full-time role when Fox revived Last Man Standing. She transitioned to a recurring guest star, appearing in just 7 episodes of Season 7. By Season 8, her appearances dropped to 2 episodes due to scheduling conflicts and COVID-19 quarantine rules. The show explained her character Eve Baxter's absence by sending her to the Air Force Academy, allowing for sporadic, impactful returns. Video calls were cleverly used to keep Eve connected to the Baxter family. Dever's limited availability didn't stop her from excelling in other projects. Between 2017 and 2021, she starred in Dopesick alongside Michael Keaton, took a role in Dear Evan Hansen, and landed a part in HBO's The Last of Us Season 2. These commitments forced the show's production team to adjust schedules and even abandon plans for 2 episodes involving Eve in Season 8. In May 2020, Fox announced that Last Man Standing would end with its 9th season. Despite strong ratings, averaging 8.3 million viewers per episode, it was time to say goodbye. Producer Kevin Abbott revealed they had plans for a 10th season, including a storyline where Amanda Fuller's character, Kristen, would take over Outdoor Man and rename it Outdoor Woman, focusing on the family business's evolution. However, the series ended before those plans could materialize. The writers of Last Man Standing aimed to explore themes of generational change while also bringing back fan-favorite guest stars, like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Richard Karn, for storylines that tied into their earlier appearances. These plans made the final season even more exciting for longtime fans. As the series approached its conclusion, producer Kevin Abbott revealed that Fox executives wanted a major event to make the finale special. Initially, Abbott was hesitant, believing the show worked best when focusing on small, family-centered stories. However, writer John Hauer proposed an idea that changed everything, bringing back Tim, the Toolman, Taylor from Home Improvement. This sparked discussions about how the two shows could connect. Over the years, the team had considered other crossover ideas, such as creating a shared universe that explained what happened to the Taylor family from Home Improvement. However, these ideas were always complicated to pull off due to legal challenges and negotiations between multiple studios. Some exciting concepts never moved past the planning stage, like a Tool Time reunion special within the Last Man Standing universe, which would have brought back the entire Home Improvement cast. Another idea involved Mike Baxter discovering he was distantly related to Tim Taylor, creating a fun storyline about their family trees connecting. The writers even considered a Christmas special uniting cast members from both shows, but scheduling conflicts and legal rights issues made it impossible. When they finally decided to bring Tim Taylor into Last Man Standing, it wasn't easy. Disney owned the rights to Home Improvement, leading to extensive negotiations. Abbott revealed that the crossover wasn't officially approved until the day before the script reading. At one point, he even threatened to move forward without Disney's permission to speed up the process. Tim Allen, who played both Mike Baxter and Tim Taylor, had conditions for the crossover. He wanted Tim Taylor's character to be treated respectfully and given a meaningful reason to appear in Colorado. The writing team rewrote the episode 3 times to satisfy everyone, including the original Home Improvement creators. Tim Allen went the extra mile to prepare for the crossover. He rewatched episodes of Home Improvement to get back into character and ensure that Tim Taylor and Mike Baxter felt like two distinct personalities. The final episode included subtle nods to Home Improvement, such as references to Wilson and Tool Time, and even explained what happened to Tim Taylor after the original series ended. This crossover became one of the most memorable moments of Last Man Standing's final season, tying together two beloved shows in a way that thrilled fans and honored both legacies.